So the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus is a very impressive speaker because it gets very loud and it has a ton of bass, all while being relatively small. The Soundcore Boom 2 Plus is so impressive, it actually does a great job of keeping up with the big boys like the JBL Boombox 3 and the Sony ULT Field 7. So if you're looking for a speaker for summer 2024, let's see how the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus compares to both the JBL Boombox 3 and my current favorite speaker, the Sony ULT Field 7. Regarding pricing, both the JBL Boombox 3 and the Sony ULT Field 7 retail for $500, whereas the Soundcore Boom 2 retails for $250, or half as much. And personally, I am very impressed by the Boom 2 Plus because you get a lot of sound out of it for half as much as these big boys. Nonetheless, if you're going to pick any of these speakers up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, pick up a big head approved hat, linked down below. We've got trucker hats and snapbacks. By buying a hat, you help the unbiased and unsponsored videos coming, and it also helps us cover more products and produce more versus videos. Thank you to everyone who's already bought a hat, and look out for more designs coming soon. And also, please remember to hit that like button and let's get subscribed. So first, there's the design of these speakers. Simply put, the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus is tiny when compared to these other two speakers. The Sony ULT Field 7 is pretty big, and even though the JBL Boombox 3 is noticeably smaller, it's a lot more dense because it weighs in at 14.7 pounds. Now, don't get me wrong, both the Sony and JBL are great options to take on the go with you because they both have built-in carrying handles. But the Boom 2 Plus is noticeably smaller and lighter because it weighs in at 8.3 pounds, and it comes included with a shoulder strap, making it much easier to lug the speaker around to wherever you're going. Now, when it comes to durability, all of these speakers are waterproof, so if they get rained on or if a drink gets spilled on them, they're going to be perfectly fine. But both the more premium speakers have mostly fabric wrapped bodies, which can stand up to constant abuse from bumps and scrapes much easier than the mostly plastic body that's found on the Boom 2 Plus. However, something that the Boom 2 Plus does have over these other two speakers is its built-in light feature that's tucked away in its passive radiator, and this light feature is fairly dynamic and you can customize it through Soundcore's app. Now, I know the ULT 7 has a built-in light feature as well, but it's not as impressive as the light feature found on the Boom 2 Plus. So personally, I don't use the light feature on the Sony, and instead I enjoy the improved battery life. But just keep in mind, if you do decide to use the light feature on the Boom 2 Plus, that is going to take its toll on the battery life. Now, when it comes to battery life, the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus has an advertised battery life of 20 hours, but that's with the speaker playing at 50% volume, with the light feature turned on, but with the bass up feature turned off. Real use with the speaker playing at 80% volume, with the light feature turned on, and with the bass up feature turned on, it's going to be good for around 7 hours of playback time. But then there are these two larger speakers, and a real use with these two speakers playing at 80% volume, they're both going to be good for around 8 hours of playback time. And 80% volume on the Boombox 3 is noticeably louder and fuller than 80% volume on the Boom 2 Plus, and 80% volume on the ULT Field 7 is noticeably louder than 80% volume on the Boombox 3. Now, when it comes to charging these speakers, both the Sony and JBL charge via a double barrel AC port, which is nice because this way you don't have a power brick to worry about. But with the Boom 2 Plus, this speaker charges via a USB-C port, which is super convenient. But the really cool thing about this USB-C port is that you can also use it to charge your own devices. Whereas with both the Sony and JBL, they don't have USB-C ports to charge your own devices. Instead, they have USB-A ports, but personally I really wish that both the Sony and JBL had USB-C ports to charge your own devices, because most phones these days just come with USB-C to USB-C charging cables. But something that all of these speakers do have is an audio jack, so you can use them with a wired connection. And I know this sounds very basic, but I do have to point this out because audio jacks are rather rare on smaller speakers now. But something that is unique to the Sony ULT Field 7 here is that it does have a 1/4-inch input, so you can either plug in a microphone for karaoke, or you can also plug in a guitar if you want. But personally, I do like that you can use this speaker with a microphone. But finally, when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, all of these speakers can be connected to 2 devices at the same time, so you and a friend can both be DJ. Latency is not an issue for any of these speakers, so you can use them to watch videos with on your phone. And when it comes to audio codecs, both the JBL Boombox 3 and Boom 2 Plus have support for SBC and AAC, whereas the ULT Field 7 has support for SBC, AAC, and LDAC, which is Sony's own in-house high-res audio codec. But with all of that out of the way, let's talk about sound. Regarding speaker setup, both the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus and Sony ULT Field 7 have dual front-firing woofers, dual front-firing tweeters, and dual pass radiators that shoot out the sides. Except on the Sony, it is larger. Whereas with the JBL Boombox 3, this speaker has a front-firing subwoofer, dual front-firing woofers, dual front-firing tweeters which are stacked on top of the woofers, and dual pass radiators that shoot out the sides. Now, with all of these speakers, you can go into their apps and you can adjust their EQ to your liking. And the Boom 2 Plus has your bass up feature, and the ULT 7 has your ULT feature. But now we're going to go ahead and jump into the sound test. All of these speakers are playing at 87% volume. They're all using their stock EQs, and bass up is turned on the Boom 2 Plus, and the ULT Field 7 is set to ULT 2, which is my preferred ULT setting.
Most days I can barely leave my bed. Someone lives rent-free inside my head. I say I'm not okay, I'm terrified. When I go to sleep, when I close my eyes, what the hell am I supposed to do? Oh my God, I can't breathe, and I don't know why. Angels come and they leave to the midnight sky. You already know how much you meant. You already know the time we spent. Take the pain from my heart and make it whole again. Please God, can you give me some relief? I've been out here hiding like a thief. I'll pull the windows down when I feel low. Keep my demons close so nobody knows the crusade that lives inside of me. Oh my God, I can't breathe, and I don't know why. Angels come and they leave to the midnight sky. You already know how much you meant. You already know the time we spent. Take the pain from my heart and make it whole again. Galaxies, nightmares, I don't think they fight fair. Why am I so sad all the time? I don't wanna take my drugs, I just wanna be okay. Will I ever feel again? Galaxies, nightmares, I don't think they fight fair. Why am I so sad all the time? I don't wanna take my drugs, I just wanna be okay. Will I ever feel again? Oh my God, I can't breathe. Angels come and they leave. You already know how much you meant. You already know the time we spent. Take the pain from my heart and make it whole again.
So when it comes to sound quality, the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus does a really good job of keeping up with these two larger speakers, and it also has an impressive amount of bass for its size. However, when it comes to the overall sound quality, the Boom 2 Plus leans towards a warmer sound signature, and it doesn't sound as open as these other two speakers. The mids on the Boom 2 Plus aren't as defined as the mids on both the JBL and Sony, and I have noticed that the Boom 2 Plus can get a little distorted at times on the high end. The Boom 2 Plus is going to be better suited for someone that likes a lot of bass and listens to a lot of hip hop. But then there's the max volume performance on these speakers. Again, the Boom 2 Plus gets surprisingly loud for its size, and it does a great job of keeping up with these larger speakers. However, these larger, more premium speakers get louder than the Boom 2 Plus, and the mids are a lot more defined as well. I feel that both the JBL and Sony are good for like 15 people get-togethers, and the Boom 2 Plus is good for like 10 or 12. But also, with both the JBL Boombox 3 and the Sony ULT Field 7, if you use them while they're plugged in, you are going to get a performance boost out of them. They're going to get louder and they're going to have more bass. Whereas with the Boom 2 Plus, if you use the speaker while it's plugged in, you're not going to get a performance boost out of it. Overall, the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus does a great job of keeping up with these more premium speakers because it gets very loud and it has the bass to match. However, when it comes to sound quality, the Boom 2 Plus doesn't sound as open, the definition in the mids isn't as good, and there can be a little distortion in the highs. But with all that being said, let's talk about pairing these speakers up to other speakers. Now, with all of these speakers, if you have two of the exact same speakers, you can wisely pair them up to one another and get them to play in left and right stereo mode. But with the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus, since this speaker is using Partycast 2.0, you can pair it up to other Partycast 2.0 speakers like the Boom 2 and get them to play in sync, and you can have up to 100 speakers playing together. But then there's the JBL Boombox 3, which is using Party Boost, and you can pair it up to other Party Boost speakers like either another JBL Boombox 3, a Boombox 2, an Extreme 3, a Charge 5, a Pulse 5, a Pulse 4, a Flip 5, or to a Flip 6, and you can get them to play in sync, and you can have up to 100 speakers paired together. And you can also connect your Party Boost speakers to upcoming Auracast speakers like either the Extreme 4, Clip 5, or Go 4. But then there's the Sony ULT Field 7, which is using Sony's Party Connect, and you can connect it up to other Party Connect speakers like either another ULT 7, an XG500, XG300, XE300, XE200, or to an XB43, XB33, or XB23. But the really cool thing about Sony's Party Connect is that you can connect your smaller speakers to any of Sony's larger speakers that are also using Party Connect, like either an ULT Tower 10, XV900, XV800, XV500, or XP700 or XP500. And this is really cool because you can't connect any of JBL's smaller Party Boost speakers to any of JBL's larger Party Box speakers. Nonetheless, I feel that all of these speakers have good speaker pairing protocols, but if you do plan on expanding your collection of speakers, then you might want to go with the Sony because they have a lot more speakers to choose from that you can connect to one another. But with all that being said, the Soundcore Boom 2 Plus is a very impressive speaker that gives you a lot of value in a small package, and it does a great job of keeping up with its larger and more expensive competitors. The Soundcore Boom 2 Plus gets almost as loud as these other two speakers, and it has almost as much bass. Plus, I also really like the built-in light feature, which looks very dynamic, and I like its smaller size, and shoulder strap makes it a great option to take on the go with you. And its price is great as well. The Soundcore Boom 2 Plus is a solid pickup. However, with these larger speakers, you are going to get improved sound quality because they sound more open, their mids are a lot more defined, and the highs don't get distorted. And also, if you use these speakers while they're plugged in, you are going to get a performance boost out of them. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.